Hey guys, Jim at Rainwater Equipment and Rain Harvesting Supplies here today. It's a hot day in Texas and we're talking about the ESYBOX Diver from DAB. This is a pump that oftentimes will be installed inside of a water tank, but for today's video we're going to talk about installing it outside of a water tank. That makes it a very unique sort of pump that you won't find in any other brand. This is a variable speed, constant pressure a pump that will do approximately 15 to 20 gallons a minute between 55 and up to 78 psi. It has an open flow maximum volume of about 32 gallons a minute, but that's at a lot lower pressure. So this is an ideal pump to run a typical home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, up to say 4,000 square feet, assuming that the water tank itself is relatively close to the home, because you certainly have to consider friction loss in your piping when you select a pump. So the setup that we have here actually shows the diver installed in the Dock 68. So DAB offers the Dock 68 as a base in order for you to be able to install this pump outside the tank like we've shown here. This is the Dock 68. There's an O-ring that seals the pump to the base and then allows you to have flooded suction connected on the backside here 1.25 inches. And I'm going to stop now while we cut to a video of one of my industry colleagues, Ron Van Sickle with Secure Water, who will explain how to install the Dock 68.
So the first step is to gather your materials. You'll have your pump, you'll have your Dock 68 kit. You'll want to remove everything, make sure that you have the parts, you'll have the instructions, you'll have the hardware, and you'll have the Dock 68 pieces. And the first step is to remove the screen. This is a Torx bit, and you will install it in the 3 holes, and the screen slides off. We will set this aside. The next step is to locate the port at the front of the pump. That is going to align with the input fitting for the Dock 68. We are now going to install the clamps to the side. This is what the Dock 68 adapter will attach to. If you're following the instructions, it will say that there is going to be a clack sound. And there's a bit of a clack there. But the important thing is that they snap together. There are some fins here on the side of the case that need to align in order for them to be oriented properly, but these are now secure on there. Okay, the next step is to make sure we are aligned here with the front. We're going to place the O-ring. And that rolls all the way up to the top. We then attach the base. Like so. Let's do that up. And it should sit down. There are some fingers in there that align it. And we're going to put our hardware in. Okay, once everything is lined up, we will go ahead and attach the hardware. I recommend getting it all started. And the idea is to make sure everything's aligned before you torque it down. So once we've got everything properly aligned, looks like the O-ring is in position. We're going to go ahead and start tightening it down. And these don't have to be cranked super tight, we just need to compress the O-ring. Okay, and so that is the Dock 68 installed on the pump and ready to add a flooded suction connection to a tank.
This is an accessory that DAB provides that allows you to connect to the pump flooded suction from a water tank. So in this situation, we have a 2-inch ball valve with a 2-inch threaded nipple, and then a 2-inch stainless steel flex hose, which makes connections really easy. then a couple of couplings. There's a coupling here with a reducer bushing. It has an 1.25 inch inlet female thread on the back side that you can't see here. On the discharge, there's an 1.25 inch female thread as well. It's always a great idea to install a shutoff valve immediately after the pump, like I have here, and I have a bushing that gets me down to 1 inch, so I can shut the pump off if I ever need to. In some cases, you may have a toilet running somewhere in the house. Your irrigation system might have a leak in the piping and the pump won't turn off. This is a nice way for you to be able to walk over here, shut this valve. If the pump builds pressure and turns off, then you know there's nothing wrong with the pump, that you have water somewhere running. And so that's a great troubleshooting tool. I have it hooked up to a garden hose here so we can demonstrate how it works. This is not a booster pump. So the DAB ESYBOX, which is a single phase 230 volt, just like the ESYBOX Diver, single phase 230 volt, the ESYBOX is a booster pump. This one is not. It can't have any more inbound pressure than 10 psi, whereas with the DAB ESYBOX above ground pump, you can have upwards of say 40 or 50 psi coming in. You cannot do that here. Now, again, this pump can be submerged inside of a water tank, but in this case, it's outside. And the really cool thing about being able to do this is that if you just want to install a pump outside your tank and you're in a flood zone, or you're in an area where you feel like, it's possible that your pump might get wet, you've got a, let's say you're kind of in a low area, like I said, a flood zone, and the water comes in, well, it's a submersible pump. So it's certainly not going to do any damage, and the pump's going to work really well in that case. It has a 10 amp requirement for power. Again, single phase 230 volt. And I'm going to step over here and show you the D-Connect 2 box that it comes with. I have it attached to a 230 volt splitter cable here. And what this allows you to do is to plug this in to a receptacle, single phase 230 volt, and then you split it. You plug the D-Connect 2 box in order to communicate with the pump through power line communication. Then the other splitter here will plug into the pump. Now in this particular example, I actually have the pump already plugged in for ease of use, but you'll want to install this outside somewhere or indoors, but it's not a weatherproof box. So if you do install it outside on the side of a tank or on the side of a building, you got to put it in an EMA enclosure. The pump does not require you to use this box for it to work. It's only needed if you have to set the pressure, because you'll need to use the DAB D-Connect app, which I have open on my phone here, and it looks like this. So you can install that from the App Store, it's free. Then you simply connect your app to the box, and that allows you to then communicate with the pump. That's how it works. So again, the ESYBOX Diver from DAB is a constant pressure, variable speed, on-demand pump. On-demand means you open the tap, somewhere in your home or an irrigation valve opens, and the pump's immediately going to turn on. You don't need a pressure tank necessarily. You can use one if you want, but it's not required for this pump because it has it integrated into the pump itself. And because it has a soft start feature, it will speed up and slow down, and it never comes on with a hard start like a typical traditional pump will do. So this pump is going to use very little energy. It's incredibly efficient, and you're just going to love the performance. As you're in the house, if you have multiple showers going, you start with one, you'll get 3 or 4 gallons a minute. Someone else starts a shower and then the dishwasher kicks on. You don't notice a pressure change. It maintains constant pressure. Again, this is the only pump on the market to date that has all of this integrated in one unique pump system that can be installed outside the tank or inside the tank. So what we'll do now, we already have our inlet valve open, feeding the pump. Now we open our discharge valve. Pump has pressured up, and it's given us plenty of pressure. If you'd like more information about the DAB ESYBOX Diver, give us a call at 877-331-7008 or check us out on rainwaterequipment.com.